Hey there folks, Plisken by 51mm, and today I'm out in the garage doing a video kind of in response to an old comment I got from Andy Prairie Dog about 3 months ago. Now this is I think this will be an interesting video because it deals with bullet lengths in cases and magazines. I'm kind of showing like the differences in like what bullet lengths, like, you know, seating your bullet out, how seating it out real far will mess up your magazine. Alright, so I was scrolling through my videos the other day, just kind of looking at some of my old ones, and I went on to my M1A video where I was talking about my M1A 30 rounder, and I mentioned bullet lengths in the magazines can cause jams if you seat the bullet out too far. And Andy Prairie Dog asked, well, he kind of stated, he said, interesting information on the cartridge length fitting. Is that a common issue when it comes to poly mags only, or is it also an issue with GI mags? Testing of the magazine will be a good video. He is referring to when I tested that magazine later on, and I do have a test video of that mag up if y'all want to go see it. But he said, is that a common issue with poly mags or GI mags? And I answered that question to him in the comments, and I'm basically taking my answer that I gave him and making it a video for everybody else too, so that way everybody else kind of understands this. And some, you know, it's an interesting thing really, and when you reload, it's something you kind of gotta pay attention to. Because if you don't, you can jam up. It will cause jamming issues with your guns if you seat your bullet out too far in your case. Alright, so for GI mags, I'm going to do my M1A first. I got 3 different types of bullets here. I got factory, federal, BPX, M80C CBL 150 grain, full metal jacket bullets. I've got my match load, a 150 grain Sierra boat tail bullet on 43.5 grains of Varget. That's my match load for my M1A, and then I got one of my dad's Remington 700 classic 308 loads here. He uses the same bullet in his Remington 700 that I do my M1A, a 150 grain Sierra Spitzer boat tail. Okay, and I've got one of my Checkmate 20 rounders here for my M1A. That's the newer one, the stainless steel one. Alright, so I'm taking this 150 grain full metal jacket bullet, federal 150 grain full metal jacket bullet, putting it in. And as you can see there, the distance between the bullet here and the magazine, that's a pretty significant gap. That would feed down very well. And I've ran these through this magazine, these bullets here from this ammo. I'll turn it like that so you can all see the, you know, the information. But I've ran these rounds in my Checkmates and they run flawlessly. There's no issues or chance that this bullet here, the length of it coming out this way, is long enough to where it will hit this silver lip here. See, this is the lip of the magazine, and start causing a feeding issue. So that's a good one. That's okay. That's a proper length, and you could probably run this bullet. Most factory bullets are seated to that length there for reliable feeding, and basically all semi-autos. I wouldn't think that a factory round would have trouble in any type of magazine, regardless of an M1A magazine. You could probably load this into a AR10, an FN Scar 17S, you know, you name it, factory magazine, factory bullet, probably feed in it reliably, and you wouldn't have to worry. Alright, here's my M1A. M1A's reload, 150 grain Spitzer boat tail, loaded on 43.5 grains of Varget. As you can see here, it sits out just a wee bit further, but it's still got enough clearance there where it can pass that metal lip. If I press it back, the bullet back against the back of the spine here and press down, it can pass that lip. But it set out further for my rifle because that's the length of my M1A's chamber. That's as far as it goes, and I've got it seated out just enough to where that bullet's seated out and the jump between the lands and the chamber throat is shorter, but I have it set out just enough to where it'll clear that jump, but it won't jam the magazine. Take the bullet out. Now here's my dad's Remington 700 308 reload. Same bullet, same case length, 308. Now watch what happens when I put this in here. Look how far that one's seated out. Seated out just a wee bit more, but I would not be able to run that in my M1A. And I probably wouldn't be able to run it in my M1A anyway, because this is loaded up a lot harder than my M1A's reloads. See, that's the thing with a bolt gun, firing from a blind magazine, a built-in magazine, you can get away with the longer bullet length, setting your bullet out further in the case. You can get away with that because there's no magazine limitation like you'd have on a semi-auto. See, I can't even, let's see if we can load a bullet on top of that. Well, I got 2 in. Let's try 3. Nope. Just jamming it up. So it is stuff like that you gotta be mindful for when loading for semi-auto. See, because if you set your bullet out too far, it won't be able to feed. And I'm sure on my M1A, if I was able to, I could probably seat my bullets out this far, and they would run in the gun really well, single shot, I imagine. But the magazine limits that. I mean, could I load bullets, like, you know, for my load, with the bullets seated out as far as my dad's 308 reloads for his Remington? Yeah, I probably could. And if I wanted to single load them, where I'd put one in the chamber and, you know, let the bolt go home, that's probably pretty dangerous because the M1A's got a free float firing pin. But if I wanted to, I could probably do it with seating my reloads out this far as his reloads. I could probably do it, but it would defeat the purpose of it being a semi-auto. So there's no point to do it. Alright, let's move over to 223 and the AR15, because the magazine bullet length issue is a little bit more prevalent with them. As you've seen with my reloads, we've got mine down to where they will clear that magazine lip pretty well. See, I could probably put 2 or 3 bullets over top of that one. Let's get a few out here. 1, 2, 3. Alright. See, I was able to put 3 factory rounds over top of my reload. Because we've got the bullet length figured out on my M1A, and the M1A mags, this is really the only profile most of them have. When you buy M1A mags, the steel ones, I don't know about the polymer ones, but the length there between the back of the spine and the front of the spine, basically the same in all of them. Whereas with the AR15, you get these GI mags. They're kind of like the M1A mag, if you see here. They're flat up here at the front, flat back here at the spine. You know, basically just straight wall. This is a 10-round magazine. Basically straight wall up here at the front, at the top of the mag. But when you get these polymer ones, you get these, like, see that spine there on the inside? That mimics the ogive of a bullet. If you can see, all see that spine right in there. Yeah, right in there. That mimics the ogive on one of these 223 bullets. And the differences between, you know, the GI AR mags and the polymer AR mags, that's when the bullet length issue starts to become a problem. Alright, now we're at the 223 AR15 magazines, and we're going to compare bullet lengths to magazine feeding with this one here now. Okay, so this is my GI Stoner AR15 10 round magazine here now. As you can see here, as I showed a little bit ago, the profile up here at the front is flat. Same in the back too, with the regards to that follower sticking out back here, but it's basically flat. Back here you don't have to worry about nothing. It's up here where all the fun is that you gotta pay attention to. Okay, in the past, and you've all seen it in various videos of mine, I have loaded AR ammo, AR-15 223 ammo for my AR-15, and I've done range tests with this magazine with the new reloads and stuff with my 223 reloads, and they run fine in this mag. But when I switch over to this one, that's when I start running into issues. And 9 times out of 10, when I make that transition from the steel GI mag to the polymer AR mag, reason why it's jamming up and that's not feeding is because the bullet is usually seated out too far for the polymer mag, because the differences up here at the front, as you can see, are different. This one's more tapered, and it's got a rib in there in the front right here that mimics a ogive to a cartridge, whereas on the Stoner mag it's just flat. There's no ridges, no ogive mimicking. It's just all straight up and down the whole length of the mag. And of course it's a 10 rounder, but I think even if it was a 30 rounder you wouldn't have no problems with bullet length issues in one of these. Alright, so I'm going to do some examples here. This one had 10 Dillon AR-15 reloads on 24.9 grains of benchmark and a 52 grain hollow point bullet. See, let's run this in the Stoner mag. As you can see there, it clears that front lip very well. Let's put a few more in. Okay, it cleared that. See, they're going down pretty easy. Had 10 of them in there. This was my scouting mag that I had in the gun for basically all of fall when I'd need my AR-15 and went scouting for like coyotes. I basically just left it loaded. Okay, so they ran good in there in the Stoner mag. They ran good in that. And I think, if I remember correctly, these are early Dillon reloads, so they're set out a little long for these polymer ones. Let's see if we can get them to run in the polymer mag here. Okay, they're fitting in, but as you can see there at the front, see there where the front of the magazine lip meets and the bullet meets, right there on that second bullet, that is a tight fit. Now all those ran right there, them four, if I tried to load any more than that, I bet the curve would start binding them up because of that spine in there. So those, I could probably get away with running about 10 in it, maybe. But any more than that, it'd start probably jamming up. Alright, let's go to my more modern, updated Dillon reloads. These have had their bullet length shortened just a wee bit, I do believe. They sit in the case just a wee bit more. I can't remember. I grabbed the box that wasn't labeled. Probably should have grabbed one of my labeled boxes. Okay, they fit in the GI mag just fine. Let's try the polymer mag. I'm sure these will fit fine too. Ooh, they do, but man, they're just as tight. Well, maybe not as tight. I think the distance between the bullet lip, between the tip of the bullet and the magazine lip, is a little bit longer than on them first 10 I had for the Stoner. So these are all good, but I'll show you the differences in them between the reload and my factory ammo here. So I got one factory bullet. Okay, it's in the Stoner mag. Take one of my Dillon reloads. See how much further that sits out? Yeah, they're different grain weight bullets too, but this one sitting out a little bit further than the factory bullet. Because we've got, just like my M1A, we've got the reloads just to the length of our AR chambers. Just a little bit seated, they're just seated out just a little bit more than factory bullets. Oh yeah, you can definitely tell right here. See, because the one on the right's a 52 grain bullet and the one on the left is a 55 grain bullet, but the 52 grain bullet's sitting out a lot further than the 55 grain bullet. We got our reload set out just enough to where they fit in the magazines of our guns, but not enough to where they will bunch it up. Let's do a quick factory mag here, or a polymer mag here. Okay, that's the length between the lip and the bullet. And there's with the reload in there. See, these polymer mags are a lot more compact up there. There's not a whole lot of gap. These front lips of the magazine sit closer to the follower. As you can see, that's a real big difference between even the Stoner mag with the factory round too. Alright, let's put the factory round away. I got some of my dad's Remington 700 VLS 223 reloads, and he's got 2 match rounds for his. Yeah, this is his super match round here, his match ready round. He does something to the neck on these, I forget what it's called. He takes like a little cutting tool and evens out the neck. Let's put these in, put one of these in the Stoner mag here. My camera's dying. Oh, look at that. See, it already sits out past the lip on the Stoner. So let's put it in the polymer one. Oh yeah, sitting that way past. These are about like how them one reloads were that we loaded for the AR-15 with the Dillon when we loaded them. And the Stoner had the length of the Stoner set up in mind. Then we switched over to our polymers, and they could only get 2 in at a time really. This one probably wouldn't be able to even fit more than 1. Let's try it. No, you can fit 2, but that's about all you'd get. That's about how them ones were when we was out shooting. Me and my cousin, when we was out shooting, I had some of them Dillon reloads and they was set out too far. That's about how them were. About how long they were. So that's stuff you gotta pay attention to. when you reload for your semi-autos. You got to keep your mag length in mind, and the differences in the mags matter too, because see, not all mags are created equal. And on the AR-15, this is a real big issue when you go from the GI straight wall type of mags with the straight lips up here to the polymer ones that like to mimic the ogive of the bullet from Magpul and other companies. You just got to keep your eye open, and when you reload, just be sure you know your mag length, because that's what I didn't know that at first, because when I was doing all my testing for my reloads, I was doing them for this 10 rounder, and when I switched over to my polymer 30 rounders and 20 rounder, I had to go back and seat my bullets in further. I would do these match bullets, but he actually has these set in tighter and lower than my Dillon reloads, and I don't want to mess them up because these are hollow points too. I grabbed them and, you know, looked them over and I'm like, well, I'm not messing with them because those are actually a smaller length than these, and they're both hollow points, and I don't want to mess them up, so I'm not getting into the blue box. But this is just a little example video showing you the difference in bullet lengths and what you need to look out for. Well, anyway, guys, it's been Plisken by 51mm. I'll see you all in the next video.